just when you thought space couldn't possibly get any stranger, astronomers discover something that sounds utterly impossible. A black hole inside a star. No, you heard that right. A shining star with a black hole inside it. What? How? And no, I don't mean a star orbiting a black hole or a fantasy object made up for a movie. It sounds ridiculous and almost too bizarre to be real, but if astronomers are right, this could help explain one of the biggest mysteries in modern astronomy. How monster black holes got so huge in the early universe. And the clue may have come from something strangely small and mysterious. Little objects spotted by the James Webb Space Telescope. Tiny, bright, ancient. Strange enough to make astronomers ask one simple question. What exactly are we looking at? So, where does this idea even come from? Well, it starts with the James Webb Space Telescope and some of the strangest objects it has ever spotted. Astronomers call them little red dots, which I know sounds incredibly underwhelming, almost like the universe's least exciting nickname. But don't let the name fool you, because the things are weird, really weird. They appear in the very early universe when the cosmos was still young, still chaotic, and still figuring itself out. And yet, somehow, these compact little objects shine with a brightness that makes absolutely no sense. That's the first mystery. They look small, but they glow like something much bigger. They look compact, but they are pumping out ridiculous amounts of energy. And they appear far too early in the cosmic history for us to comfortably fit them into what we thought we knew about how galaxies and black holes grow. In short, they shouldn't really be there behaving the way they are. So naturally, astronomers started throwing ideas around. Maybe they are densely packed galaxies. Maybe they are hidden quasars wrapped in thick clouds of gas and dust. Or maybe they are something far stranger. Something that sounds almost impossible. A giant star with a black hole growing deep inside it. So how on Earth, or anywhere else for that matter, can you have a black hole inside a star? Well, the answer is both simple and completely bonkers. Imagine a giant cloud of gas in the early universe. Absolutely enormous, much bigger than most stars we know today. Now, instead of that cloud collapsing down and igniting like a normal star, its core keeps collapsing, deeper and deeper until eventually it forms a black hole. The black hole forms, starts feeding, and everything around it gets swallowed up. And that should be the end of it, right? Wrong! That giant outer layer of gas doesn't disappear straight away. It stays there, wrapped around the black hole like a colossal cocoon. And as the black hole feeds, it releases enormous amounts of energy, heat, and radiation. That energy pushes outward, while gravity keeps pulling inward, creating this bizarre balancing act where the whole thing swells into something enormous, bright, and oddly star-like. From the outside, it looks like a giant star. But at its heart, instead of fusion, there might be a hungry black hole in disguise. Which is honestly one of the most ridiculous sentences I've ever said out loud. But if objects like that really existed, they could have acted like cosmic cheat codes, helping black holes grow insanely fast in the early universe. And at this point you might be thinking, crazy idea, but where is the evidence? Very fair question, and this is where things get really interesting. The more astronomers studied those little red dots, the stranger they seemed. They were too bright, too compact, and in some cases simply too difficult to explain with normal stars or ordinary young galaxies. And that pushed scientists toward a bold idea. What if some of them were hiding growing black holes deep inside? And yes, that sounds completely mad, but strangely enough, the numbers started pointing that way. With that in mind, scientists expected to see one major clue: X-rays. When a black hole feeds on surrounding gas, that material heats up to ridiculous temperatures and starts glowing in high-energy light, including X-rays. In other words, they are often the best clue that something out there is feeding, and eating aggressively. But there was a problem. Those mysterious objects weren't showing the kind of X-ray signals scientists were expecting. Without any direct evidence, the idea was mostly shoved aside. Until NASA's Chandra X-ray Observatory spotted something unusual. A distant object in the early universe blasting out powerful X-rays, while also sharing features with those same mysterious little red dots. And suddenly, that impossible sounding idea didn't sound so impossible anymore, which raises a wild possibility. What if we are not just looking at strange ancient objects? What if we are looking directly at the birth of monster black holes? But before we get too carried away, as always, there is a catch. As exciting as this idea is, astronomers still don't know for sure what these little red dots are. And that's because space has a habit of making things look one way, only for the truth to turn out to be something completely different. One possibility is that these objects are incredibly dense young galaxies, packed with huge numbers of hot bright stars forming at unbelievable rates, making them shine far brighter than we normally expect for something so small. Another idea is that they could be hidden quasars, giant feeding black holes wrapped in such thick clouds of gas and dust that much of their light gets buried, changing how they appear when we observe them. And to be fair, both of those explanations are already pretty wild. The black hole star idea just happens to be the one that makes you stop for a second and think, hang on, is that even possible? It is also incredibly difficult to prove because we are looking really far back in time. These objects are tiny, ancient, and so distant that even the James Webb Space Telescope, the most powerful space telescope ever built, is only detecting clues, not real evidence. That means astronomers are doing what they always done best, piecing together a giant cosmic puzzle from fragments of light that have traveled for more than 13 billion years to reach us. With more Webb data, more X-ray detections, and future telescopes, we could eventually reveal what these strange little objects really are. Until then, we are left with one of the most fascinating possibilities modern astronomy has ever considered. That somewhere in the early universe, black holes may have been growing inside objects we would normally mistaken for stars. I think we all thought that space couldn't possibly get any stranger, but it just did. That's what I love the most about astronomy. Every time we think we are finally starting to understand the universe, it shows us something that completely flips the table. A black hole inside a star sounds absurd, almost laughable, like the main weapon of the next Star Wars villain. And yet, here we are, seriously considering the possibility that objects like that may have existed in the early universe. Not only existing, but possibly helping shape the cosmos we see today. Think about that for a second. Some of the first monster black holes in existence, some of the giants that would one day sit at the centers of galaxies, may have begun life hidden deep inside something that looked just like a shining star. On the outside, it was just a star, but on the inside, something absolutely wild. And honestly, that's the beauty of the cosmos. The deeper we look, the stranger it becomes. Thank you for watching. Keep looking up.